Hello, everyone. My name is Stella Guan. I'm the founder and CEO of Path Unbound. We are a design school democratizing creative education. And today we have a very special guest all the way from London. Her name is Eleftheria Anastasiadou, and she is a UI UX designer. She just started her career not long ago. And we actually connected on Medium because I found a really interesting article that she wrote, and we will talk about it very soon. Hi, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Stella, for the invitation and your time and speaking to me.
Of course, of
Welcome,
course.
everyone.
Yes, so I know you attended a boot camp for design. You transitioned your career from another field into design. So I was wondering, what was your experience at the boot camp, and if you particularly like anything about it?
So, yes, I did study UX UI design in a bootcamp in a General Assembly. I think the course prepares you perfectly for what you're going to see on your future career, because they really teach you things that you're going to actually do on work. And they teach you all different UX methodologies and visual design. And I really like how they structure the program of studies. It's very interactive, and even though I did it immersive, so I did it visually, I still took everything out of it, and I didn't feel like I left out something, because comparing to the people that they had the chance to do it in-house. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So it seems like you have a pretty great experience in general, and you feel prepared for your career. So what do you think is the most important thing that you learned as a designer?
um, Never try to guess what the users want.
Very true. That's very true. You know, that's probably one of the things that separates UX design from, other design disciplines. It's very user centric, and you actually have to discover your design solution while doing research. You don't assume anything, which is great. Is there anything that you feel like you wish you had known more?
Yes, after the course, we have a service called the Career Coaches and the Outcomes, and I think they do amazing work, because they really prepare you and they really help you and support you mentally, and physically, with all the grammatical errors and how you structure your CV. But there were times that there were like specific, as an example, like a specific layout of a CV that they suggested, or it was suggested to us. And then after I finished this course and I went out and I found mentors that mentored me, they told me that this doesn't work in the real world. Like, there were other key elements that you should include or exclude from your CV. So I think maybe having a little bit more of a real life, real design life on your career, it will be better. As an example, the CV.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I heard you talked about, real life experience. That's probably one of the things that a lot of bootcamp graduates and also like college students really want, because they did a lot of projects that are, really mock projects. It's kind of like, okay, everyone is going to agree on it. There's no other, factors in it. And when you start working in the real life, you're like, wait a minute, why am I making so many revision? Why didn't everybody agree with me, right? And if they didn't agree with me, what do I do? So yeah, definitely. And actually, let's transition next to how actually we got connected. Is I really, really love your article on Medium. I know you haven't written that many articles yet, but the one that you wrote really caught my eyes because it's a really funny and interesting spin on UX design. So you said you used UX design, specifically affinity mapping, to sort out your love life. So that's a really interesting concept. So tell us a little bit about your article. How did you decide to write it, and what was the inspiration?
Right. So one night I was cooking with my flatmate, and I was dating a guy, and the guy started treating me badly. And I saw that in many exes as well. And I start complaining to my flatmate and being all drama. And he says to me, listen, I'm going to be very honest with you. The only common thing that all your exes have is you. So
Yes, I
stop,
read that.
stop complaining about all the people that you attract. So sit down and just write all the plus on all the good things that you saw on your exes, all the bad things that you didn't like on your exes, and then sit down and write your behavior that you think that it was bad against them when you spend time with them. But be very honest, why you like this person, and then try to see similar patterns, try to see if anything is connected. And I'm like, well, this is a UX methodology. It's called affinity mapping.
Right, exactly, right? That is so funny.
Yeah, it is. And he's like, perfect. Do affinity mapping, but be honest. Like, don't hide things from yourself, because when you really sit in front of the mirror and you speak to yourself, it's not easy. you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, I discovered all the things that they are mentioned on the article. As an example, because I raised from in a family with my father is like a teacher so he works in education, and he writes about philosophy. So I raised with having someone in my head all the time saying, how you look, it doesn't matter, it's only what you have inside you. So I had this as a title in my head in everything I do. But then I discovered through the article that this is not actually happening. And I only attract people that they are attractive. And then this cuts down the chances from other people that I could possibly be happier with, because I don't feel that they're so attractive.
Yeah, exactly. I actually read the entire article, and then you had some really good, basically points after you went through the discovery process. You actually, there are a lot of commonalities that you found from the previous partners that you had, and also how you behave as a person. I think it's a really, really brave thing to do, and also not a lot of people have the self-awareness to do that, because they always think that, oh, it's them, it's not me, I have nothing, there's nothing wrong with me. And the results that you got from the exercise is actually really helpful, hopefully for you. And you just saved yourself a lot of money from therapy. Actually,
I know, right?
I really love that, because honestly, if you think about therapy, of course, they're really, really great people, helping us, but they actually are doing the same thing in their head, trying to help us. They're trying to break down the problem for us when we speak to them. So you now possess the ability to be a therapist, so to speak, right? To kind of help yourself. So I know actually, creating content is actually more and more of a trend online, and especially for designers who want to build their personal brand. And I think you're starting to do that. It's great. So do you have plans to keep doing more of that?
Yeah, so I just want to add something on something you said, because it was really nice. So you said I was being the therapist of myself. So one of the most important things as a UX designer is to have empathy for the user.
Yes.
And that's how all this started, because I had empathy in myself. So I do believe that UX designers are therapists for the users, and that's how they need to think as well.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. UX designers are therapists for users.
Exactly,
That's
right?
so true. That really is so true. It's a problem solving profession, and also we create things that didn't exist before. So it's a twofold profession. It's amazing. How come I didn't think of that before? That's awesome. Yeah. So going back to content, what kind of content do you hope to produce more in the future?
As in articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my next article will be about the relationship and the similarities of fitness and design.
Oh, very interesting. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to break down the steps that you take as a UX designer to solve a problem or to create a product, and then break down the steps that you take as a fitness professional to discover the problem of the person who came to you to train him or her, and uh, analyze all the similar patterns and steps, because basically it's the same thing. So, like in UX, for example, we say the double diamond process, which is define the
Yep.
problem, discover, do your research,
Yep.
iterate, and then deliver.
Yep.
And basically, it's the same steps that you take when your client comes and says to you, "Hi, I have a lower back pain, but I want to be six pack until the summer, until June." So first of all, you define the problem. You do a screening assessment and you say, listen, there's a misalignment on your shoulders, or you have scoliosis, or your pelvis is misaligned because you have your right glutes are stronger than your left. So you do the screening assessment and you see that there are some things going wrong. So you define the problem of what
Yep.
your client has. Then you do research on the problem. You're researching their body, you're researching their goals, and then you iterate. You create a program specific on their needs, specified on the individual you have in front of you, and then you deliver the program. And after you test the program, you iterate again. So you see if the program that you have for your client works. If it works, you keep the same. If it doesn't work, you change it. Exactly the same thing that you do as a UX designer. You iterate, you do testing to the users, and then if something doesn't work, you implement the changes, and then you keep iterating and keep delivering.
Yeah, that's awesome. There are so many fitness-based apps on the market, but I haven't seen a lot of apps that are really tailored to the users like that. A lot of them, they just, provide the programs that they think it's going to help whoever who wants to achieve their fitness goals, but it's not one size fits all, right? And then it frustrates people when they pay for things that are not designed for them completely, and they see amazing results for other people, but they didn't see the same thing, and then they'll feel bad about themselves or they get frustrated at the program. So I think that's amazing. And also I want to talk about how you're relating your previous profession and also your hobby to design. And I think a lot of designers, they, especially if they transition into UI UX design, they definitely have that background. A lot of them didn't know how to even pair the two together, or even they should. What advice do you have for them, for someone who transitioned from another career to design?
Uh, First of all, just don't listen to anyone, because I had so many people telling me, "Oh, you shouldn't now. You're almost 30. Don't transition." Like, imagine how many people are already doing this for so many years. You'll never be like them. Um, this is I don't feel that this is a good advice, and I feel that having different background actually makes you special. And what I see in companies now is they all use in one team people from different backgrounds. So I have a friend who is an architect. Now he's a very successful UX designer.
Mm.
I have a friend who was working in marketing and now also is a very good designer. I had a friend who studied psychology and she is a very good designer and very successful in UX. So especially in UX, whatever you did on your past, you can find ways to add it on your new career path 100%, because it's
Yeah.
so broad.
Exactly. Yeah. I also kind of encourage my student to embrace and also be very proud of what they did previously, even if they don't want to be in that field anymore. Because if you don't show the world what you did in the past, then basically you're erasing your own identity. And that's not something that, makes you special, right? So, awesome. So, my next question is, what attracted you to UX design initially?
Right. So I wanted So when the pandemic happened, basically all my jobs stopped. So I didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I know
So
that
I
a
wanted,
lot of people had that problem. Yes.
so instead of just sitting and complaining, oh, I'm not gonna perform again, no, I'm not gonna train people again as I used to, because I do that online as well. Um, I wanted to find a career path that I can do from anywhere in the world. Is creative, has a lot of research, and pays well.
Yeah.
And I think the best choice was to do UX design.
Hmm. That is true.
and then the, and then the more I do it, the more I like it. Like the more I discover things about UX, the more interested I am to learn more.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think one of the things that attracted people to, design in general is it's, yeah, very much so we can do it from anywhere. We're less affected by, something like the pandemic, fortunately. And also it is very creative, but at the same time, it's also business oriented. So you kind of, you don't have to be an artist, right? Because a lot of people, when they think of designer, they're afraid. They're like, wait a minute, I don't draw, I don't paint. That's not really what design is. Design is art adjacent, but not art, in my opinion. So I'm very glad you found this path. So I know you're now early in your career. So I'm curious what's been going on in your career right now. What are some of the challenges you're facing as an early career designer?
So I'm doing freelance work after finishing my the immersive course I did. And challenges are that you really need to put yourself out there and not wait from big companies to see you, because like I have been applying for full-time jobs for so long, and in like 700 applications I received 2 answers. But then the reality is that there are so many companies, small companies, your friends, your family, that they are out there waiting for you to do UX design for them. So just grab the opportunity that's next to you, and don't wait until someone replies from you. And also another very, very good advice that I want to give is find mentors. That's the
Absolutely.
best thing. Like find mentors, try to network, because that's how jobs are happening now, not through applications. Because for each application, a recruiter receives about 1,000 applications. How can you expect to get the reply out of it? So find mentors and start small with the people around you.
Yeah, I agree so much. I mean, it's kind of the same with every industry because if you don't speak to anyone, you just, robotically applied, which you still should apply, but then you basically are lowering your chances and not improving it, right? And how are you doing networking, by the way, currently?
So through LinkedIn,
Hmm.
um, I find UX designers and I check their work, where the companies they work, and I probably message them and I say, I really like the work that you did for this company, or how are you finding your UX career? Or would you like to give me some feedback on my portfolio? And then through writing articles on Medium as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. See, I mean, that's how I got connected to you. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Exactly.
Because it's kind of like whatever you put out there, you're gonna attract something that's aligned with your value, with your personality back, and that's what you want too, because you don't want to attract people who don't like your style, right? So I think absolutely that's correct, and I think it's really brave of you to kind of put yourself out there and also transition your career, because I know how difficult it is. I actually transitioned my own career early, well, actually, probably 10 years ago, because I didn't like what I did at the time. Even then, I was only a few years after school, and it felt really, really daunting, because everyone else, it seems like, oh, they're moving upward and forward, and I'm going backwards because I'm going back to school. But after you did that, really, you will feel much more fulfilled because you're choosing a path that you really like, that it's fulfilling to you. Are you working on any side projects by any chance?
Yeah, at the moment, I'm always working in side projects. I think that's what you get out the most experience, because you usually choose projects that are passionate for. Because,
Mhm.
on your full-time job, you might not have the opportunity to work on something that you're passionate. But on side projects, because you have the opportunity to choose what projects you want to take, you actually like them. So at the moment, I'm working for an app that's called Always a Dinosaur. And I don't think if I'm allowed to say many things, but I will say to you the content is going to be an app that you're basically going to create a profile, and then charities from all around the world will be registered there and presented there. So you can decide in what charities you want to donate to. And also they're going to be like a different ranking system based on dinosaurs, and all the branding will be around dinosaurs. Wow. It's very playful and like has a lot of character, and I really like it.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
awesome. You know, a lot of people they didn't realize that working on side projects and passion projects, that's another form of improving your portfolio and actually increasing your experience because, you know, you can talk about your process even if it's not for a big company. And I also heard from from a recruiter, actually, she suggested that we can partner up with software engineers who might be looking to take their vision to live, but they're lacking a designer, right? So they have something going on. You want to be working on something. Why don't you guys partner up and then count that as one of your portfolio items and experience? That's absolutely awesome. So it seems like you are, you know, really making the best use of time to improve yourself and then becoming a better designer. And you also are telling stories on Medium. So tell us how you learn to tell great stories and how important do you think it is for a designer to know how to tell stories?
So I think it's for me it's the second rule. So the first rule I have is have empathy for the users, and the second is be a good storyteller. Because when, as an example, when a user is coming to the app that you design, is going through a user journey, through an experience, and you want this experience to be like a story happening in front of them, like they're watching a movie, for example. Storytelling for me started being as a dancer, because there were many times in my life that I went to castings and auditions, and I had to put my ego aside and just try to tell a story through my body. And this story usually happens through personal experiences. That's how you differentiate yourself from other people, your personal experience and what you live up to that moment when you start telling your story. So I think that's how it started, and it's very important as well in dancing, because every time that someone is going to give you a piece to dance, either if it's not like a freestyle, it's a choreography, you need to make it yours. And
Yeah.
the only way to make it yours is through your stories and the life you live.
Absolutely. I so agree with that. And I actually didn't think about dancing in that way until now. You brought it up because I used to play instruments for about 15 years, and really it's you know, once you get the techniques right, you can perform a piece, but if you perform it mechanically, no one wants to really hear that because they could just buy a CD or, you know, download something online. Why would they listen to you? But if you actually tell a story with your music, with your art, with, you know, everything that you do, and now with design, people relate to you more. And nobody wants to hear a dry corporate presentation. You know, you want to have a hook for them. You want to ask them a question. And now I'm using it to improve my teaching, my public speaking as well. So I think storytelling is, you know, unfortunately very underrated and not even spoken about too much in design and creative education, but it's so important. It's what attracts you, what your audience, how they become attracted to your work. So excellent. And I just want to ask, what's coming up for you? Do you have any new plans or, you know, hopes for the future months?
I'm always open for new opportunities and interesting projects to work in that I'm passionate, products that I want to design and make the user feel like they designed them. Um, and then keep improving my skills, keep learning, and keep networking, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I love how you said you want the users to feel like they design it themselves, which is really kind of like the highest end of user empathy, because you want them to use something and feel like, wow, I could really come back to this tomorrow. It doesn't feel like a stranger. I'm already in love. It's really helping my life, instead of, wait a minute, how do I get to the next step? That's not good, right? So awesome. So thank you so much for speaking with us today. This is very interesting. It's very interesting to learn about your life, your background, and especially we want to talk to more people who transition from another career to design, and starting their design journey from now, not from before, from now. So thank you so much. My name is Stella Guan. I'm the founder and CEO of Path and Bound, and we will see you next time.